Yes. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum at the Lamb Shows, where you can find me, my guy, A Double. What up,
Yo, some big stuff just happened.
dude? This fucking league, man. The NBA is out of control. Two blockbuster trades. Harden is on the Nets. You know what's funny? I went back through the Instagram and we had actually talked about right around the start of the NBA. We had like a general broad conversation about Harden. We used Harden as like the main
Yeah.
talking point, but we talked about like how do we feel about super teams.
Yeah.
We spent like 15, 20 minutes, and then lo and behold, a couple weeks later, we have a super team. Harden to the Nets. How do you feel about
It
this?
just came so quickly. I know we heard rumblings for about a month, but just based on last night, the press conference, and then you've seen comments from John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins. Like you expect maybe it would take a couple days like for all this materialize, and then within 8 hours, kaboom. Like, it makes sense given look, Harden just doesn't want to be there. I can't remember the last time a superstar has came out and been so candid. You could say what you want about James Harden. At least he was candid about it. He just wanted out. He probably didn't handle it the right way, but based on his weight and just maybe his actions. But he's out, and just when things can get more crazy in Brooklyn, things get crazier.
I mean, between the Kyrie stuff, the Durant dynamic, now Harden is over there, and they gave up a lot to get him. But just the idea of now we have yet another super team. I like the way the Nets looked so far through the first couple of weeks, especially when they had Kyrie and Durant. Like, dude, you have two of the 15 best players in the league, maybe top 10 best players in the league.
Right.
And now you just add Harden also. It's funny, I have a stat here in front of me. 92.9% usage rate combined, those three, which basically means if you're anyone else on this team, pull up in the corner and just relax.
Well, that's what Joe Harris is for.
You need that token white dude in the corner just to spot up and fucking bang threes.
It is unfortunate that Jared Allen got traded. I know Levert's a stud too, but I thought Allen just being the center of that offense, I think he just plays an integral part because they need like a defensive enforcer. I don't think at his age, DeAndre Jordan could really do that anymore. So I think losing Jared Allen's probably the loss that has fans hurting.
I'd agree with you. And talking to Ahmed, talking to Dylan, also who are Nets fans for
we
many,
need to
many
get Dylan
years.
on his ASAP.
Oh, dude, I've been texting Dylan. Shouts to Dylan, man. Everyone loved that podcast. And it's funny because I was talking to him and all his concerns were what we talked about on the podcast about how the super team, and obviously he loves super teams because his team benefited from a super team.
Right.
But you're right, man. The consensus talking to Nets fans, the big concern is losing Allen because he is a center. We're like, LeVert, great up-and-coming player.
You were bound to lose him, though. If you're going to get Harden.
You had to.
Yeah.
LeVert was going to go in any trade package, whether it was going to be for Beal that was rumored, whether it was going to be for Harden, which it was. You had to. If you're the other team, you're like, yo, LeVert's probably the best prospect that I can get from the Nets in this exchange.
Right. So, and then LeVert doesn't even go to Houston.
Right.
Indiana swoops in.
Yeah, and Oladipo goes to Houston.
There's just so much moving parts. I like Oladipo, but
I've always liked Oladipo.
But is he
bro.
is he back? Because obviously he suffered a pretty devastating injury.
He's had moments,
Right.
like really promising moments, but I think that's just growing pains, bro, coming back from an injury like that. Like, it really took Paul George about 18 months to go back to the Paul George prior to that Team USA injury that he suffered. But you're right about how we started this whole conversation, bro. Just like yesterday, well, at the time of recording, Tuesday, the press conference after the game, like, I don't know what else I could do, something along the lines.
Right.
Boogie Cousins is like, yo, we weren't on good terms from the moment that I had the interview.
Right.
John Wall's like, bro, you already gave up. We're 9 games into the season.
Right. We're talking about like how 14 players you disrespected.
Yeah, of course. When it gets to that level, it's a wrap, bro.
Like I saw stats that this first time since 2012, James Harden's gone 4 games without scoring more than 20 points since 2012.
Yo, there was a play where he legit just has the ball at like the top of the key and just throws it to, I think it's John Wall, but throws it like so lackadaisical and throws it to like that half court.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, he is so checked out.
Man, like I wonder, is it just him each other? Also, does he have to get back into like game shape? Like I'm wondering how long it will take for him to acclimate in Brooklyn because like we don't know what his weight's like right now.
There's been some pictures that have looked rough, but also it could
Yeah.
be the angle too.
It could,
you know?
yeah. That's why I want to go be too overly critical, but it's just you hate to see a superstar like kind of go that route. But I do appreciate the press conference though. He just said, "Look, it's clear we don't have the talent. What's the point?" Because I think ultimately he wanted out before the season. He just couldn't get his way, and now he got his way.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'll probably if I'm a fan of a team, like as a Knicks fan, I'm probably never buying a jersey for a guy because they're just. I know Harden gave him 7-8 years, but
it's like that in a lot of sports. To be fair,
so crazy.
Yeah.
But the NBA is.
NBA is another level.
It's on another level. We haven't seen that happen in the NFL until tremendous segue. Maybe Deshaun Watson.
Whoa, man.
Yo, what's good with Houston, bro?
We're just gonna mention like Houston, man. They still got the hip hop at least.
Shady, I feel like you have a soft spot.
Hell
for
yeah, I
Houston.
grew up on Houston hip hop, man. Like I love Houston. I was chopping screw back in 2004, man. Like I love Houston, so it hurts my heart. And just seeing how things have just crumbled.
You have the soul, the music soul of someone from the South.
Yeah, dude, that's like
Atlanta.
Houston, little Memphis here and there. Like that new Juicy J album, people. You gotta listen to Juicy J. Oh my god, that shit was crazy.
Chameleonaires and shit too.
Yeah, like damn. But Houston, like it's just it culminated. So, with both these organizations, I think it just started with like the DeAndre Hopkins situation. Now this, and like you just see it, like it's crazy just how Andre Johnson has not had a post since April 2019 that didn't involve Crown Royal ad, and he comes out with this. And even Arian Foster said it. And Arian Foster has pretty much checked out of football. Does not follow sport whatsoever. Doesn't care. And he just says, man, when Andre Johnson is upset, something's up. So the fact that, because I think he was part of the core where they were supposed to help out the GM search firm. Like he was supposed to help advocate. And now you have him here being critical of the organization. And Jack Esterby's like the biggest villain now. Like I think he's replaced Bill O'Brien. He's next guy that's got to get out of town. It's just it's bizarre, and you wonder at this point. Like now they're trying to interview Eric Bieniemy. Who knows that's gonna happen? Like everything just seems like a huge cluster in Houston.
Bro, look at this timeline of Andre Johnson tweets right now, right? So his tweet on the 12th is the one that we're referencing to, 103.3 thousand favorites. Likes, I should say. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I will stand my ground. The Texans organization is known for wasting players' careers. Since Jack Esterby has walked into the building, nothing good has happened for the organization. And for some reason, someone can't seem to see what's going on. Pathetic. Then Arian Foster chimes in and he goes, yo, when Andre speaks up, it's a problem. And then you're right? Ad for Crown Royale. Yeah. Then he retweets him being on Good Morning Football. Another ad for Crown Royale. And then his last tweet that had nothing to do with an ad was, Dame Lillard, man, that was crazy. It was 2019. So, yeah, dude, for him to come out and be outspoken, and then you saw Arian Foster, too, who, he got hurt when he was in Houston, and sort of that relationship got a little weary towards the end. And, man, I've been waiting for a guy like Watson in that situation with that organization. Don't have a first-round pick this year. That goes to Miami. They're picking third, right? You're the Dolphins. Imagine they made the playoffs, bro. Like, you might be a playoff team, and then you have a top 3 pick.
Yeah, that's still a great spot.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If you're Miami, you like what you're doing there. One of the teams that Watson is linked to, I know I'm jumping around a lot here, but I want to go back to this player empowerment movement that has sort of happened from the NBA guys now with Watson. Do you think Watson has the cachet to be a guy that could force his hand out?
He's such a well-mannered person. Like, he still hasn't even made a public statement. He's checked out. So I think it's going to come down to the new GM, Nick Mancero. They're just going to have that conversation because I don't think Kyle McNair's done any favors. He's talking about building walls around the organization. I think building walls is a term you don't want to use in 2021. So what he's done, and I think he's been upset just Houston as an organization in general. And let's not forget, when they hired a search firm, they were supposed to consult Watson. I think they said we're going to really do a deep search, and then they just hired a guy from New England 3 days later. So I think Watson was promised a lot of things, and he just hasn't got back. But I thought the Hopkins trade was something that could push him over the top. The fact that I think he went a full season, and just a lot of these Houston games, they were in it. They were one possession losses. I mentioned both losses to the Colts. I think they were close against Baltimore. They had a run against Pittsburgh. Watson kind of single-handedly carried them because we know that defense is atrocious. So I don't know how much leverage he has because it's going to be a huge price they're going to be coming. And who knows if they're even going to be like asking. I think they're going to do everything in their power to, get on good terms with me, because I just think, how do you recover from losing Watson? Like, you could try to get a couple first round picks, maybe get Tua, but it's just a top 5 QB. Like, you're really going to trade him after trading a top 3 wide receiver? Like, you're going to do back-to-back years? At this point, like, why don't you sell the organization then? Like, just admit it. Like, you're just completely don't care. Because I think that's what you're saying to your fan base if you trade Deshaun Watson. You got doing everything in your power to get on good terms with him.
He's 24 years old, coming off the best year of his career. Love that video. Did you catch that video on NFL
Him and
Films?
J.J. Watt?
J.J. Watt.
Yeah, he's right.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt has seen the shit bag of quarterbacks in Houston. And, 24 years old, coming off a career year, and you haven't done anything to help him, bro. Like, you get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and we've at nauseum I've talked about the relationship that them two had. My buddy Maldo, who's a fan of the show, he lives out in Houston. He's like, bro, they would do commercials together all the time. Those like local car dealership commercials or whatever, like all the time. They were like homies, the Clemson connection as well. And then you give that up, and look, he just got paid, right? He has a potential out after year 4. But you're looking at a cap hit of $15 million next year, $40.4 million in 2022, $42 million in 2023. He'll be 27 years old, and then $37 and $32 million in 2024 and 2025. But it's a lot of money that he's owed. I'm doing whatever I can to bring in Watson.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trading for a wide receiver. I'm not trading for Stephon Diggs. For as great as Diggs has been, like, bro, if I have a chance to get Deshaun Watson,
there's nothing to compare it to.
You do it.
Yeah.
The whole point of your draft capital is to find a Deshaun Watson.
It's just, is it accessible? Like, I don't think it is right now, unless Watson really forces his hand. Because think about it, Houston's bringing a new GM. They're bringing a new coach. Like, they can't just say to themselves, "Oh, all right, Watson doesn't want to be here." Like, they're gonna do everything they can to just get him back on board. And who knows? Like, maybe Bieniemy comes in, even though they kind of disrespect him, or they bring in another offensive mind. But it's just the fact that it's gone this awry is very concerning. Like, you don't see relationships between organizations and franchise quarterbacks go this badly. Like, it's been a long time since we've seen like a real feud between a franchise quarterback, or one like on a real superstar level. Like, Aaron Rodgers had issues in Green Bay, but they've been steadily handled. I know things got a little dicey, but it didn't get bad to this extent. Like, this is just, and Watson's the furthest thing from someone that's gonna, I don't want to categorize him as a diva, but like, Watson's not someone that's gonna create tension in the locker room. He's someone that a whole locker room could get behind. So it's not gonna be a situation where he's gonna be like bring this toxic energy and he's not gonna just check out. He's gonna be supportive. But look, these players, they have every right to be frustrated, and after all he's put into that organization, he deserves more. So I don't blame one bit if he wants to just completely check out.